The vote counting is progressing in Argentina on Monday after an election day which showed a 60% turnout in the province of Chubut. At least 4 residents of the occupied Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine were killed in a shelling. And in Niger, citizens held a massive demonstration in support of the military junta and against colonialism. At the same time, ECOWAS issued an ultimatum of 1 week to military junta to see power use of force was approved. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Rosabal from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The vote counting is progressing in Argentina on Monday after an election date would show a 60% turnout in the province of Chubut. The authorities indicated that with around 80% of the votes counted, it is still unknown who will be the new governor of the province of Chubut, although candidates of Juntos por el Cambio and Peronismo assured they won the election by a minimum margin. According to the last report on Sunday, candidate Ignacio Torres of Juntos por el Cambio gained 35% of the votes against 33% of the officialist Juan Pablo Luque. In the context of the last provincial elections between El Paso elections, Ignacio Torres assured that his alliance won, although they not want to recognize it, while Juan Pablo Luque warned that they will not celebrate a victory until they wait for the definitive recount. On Sunday, black women from various parts of the state of Rio de Janeiro gathered at the Malecón in Copacabana to participate in the 9th March of Black Women under the slogan United Against Racism, all forms of oppression, violence, and for the good life of all women. The demonstration was organized by the set of Forum of Black Women of Rio de Janeiro and counted with the participation of several collectives linked to the struggle against racial inequality. The event closes the week of mobilization for the International Day of Black, Latin American, and Caribbean Women and takes place on the eve of the International Day of African Women. In Brazil, 67% of the victims of femicide and 89% of the victims of sexual violence are black women, and at the same time, it is the sector of the population with the highest unemployment rates in the country. Hundreds of indigenous community members attended the funeral of Freddy Bomba Campo, a social leader murdered by hired assassins in Santander, Guilechao on July the 26th. Bomba Campo was the president of the Alternative Indigenous and Social Movement in Caldono, a former council and indigenous authority of the Pioya territory. In the past, he had denounced threats against his life. That is why the National Protection Unit had assigned him security detail. Still, 3 hooded men managed to kill him in a family gathering at around 5:50 on Wednesday, July the 26th.
As coordinator of the Indigenous Guard, he exercised territorial control against armed groups, against drug trafficking groups, and against anything disrupting order in the territory. He was a committed, resolute man, not afraid of anything.
At a meeting of Ibero-American General Prosecutors, Venezuela made a presentation about progress made regarding human rights and access to justice. After 6 years of absence, Venezuela was able to report the state of progress regarding judicial proceedings at the plenary session of the meetings of Attorney General of Ibero-America. Venezuela's Attorney General Tarek William Saab even suggested holding 2 seminars on the issue instead of just one. The presentation is part of the process of integration and cooperation between the different legal entities throughout Ibero-America.
We are here to share with the media present the reincorporation of the Public Ministry of Venezuela to the Ibero-American Association of Public Ministers that comprises all the countries of Ibero-America, plus Spain and Portugal.
In Canada, a firefighter lost his life while battling a fire in northeastern British Columbia. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police demand, as yet unidentified, was transported by helicopter to Fort St. John's by that en route. Authorities said he is the third victim of this fire season. According to statistics from the Provincial Forest Fire Department, 363 fires remain active in British Columbia, with 11 new ones in the last 24 hours and 191 classified as out of control. On Sunday, the Regional Support Office of the Russian Federation warned about the hurricane that left 9 people dead and more than 70 injured in the Volga region. The support agency reported that 41 municipalities were affected by the phenomenon, which left several dead in different provinces of the region. And they also reported more than 70 injured and multiple damage to the infrastructure of the localities. In this context, officials of the Ministry of Emergency Situations continue to search for passengers from a ship wrecked by the rains in the Volga River. The Federal Service of Hydrometeorology and Environmental Monitor of the country urged the authorities of the municipality of the region to keep the maximum alert in the population. In China, thousands of people had to be evacuated as a consequence of the persistent rains and severe floods caused by the typhoon Dotsuri in the north of the country. Firefighters on Saturday successfully rescued 45 villagers who were trapped by floods in the city of Qingyuan in northwest China, Shanghai province. A red alert issued by the government will be in effect at least until this Monday afternoon. Meteorological institutions estimate that this is the heaviest rainfall in decades. During the last few hours, more than 27,000 people were evacuated in Beijing and some 20,000 in the city of Xihuanshan. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in the formats, new dates, and more. Other stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back. The Donetsk People's Republic Control and Coordination Center confirmed on Monday that at least 4 people were killed and 11 wounded in a new Ukrainian military attack on the city center of Donetsk. The mayor of the city, Alexei Kulemtsin, said on his Telegram account that one of the shell hit a passenger bus, which caught fire along with 2 other cars. The local mayor also said that the attack targeted residential neighbors, the social center, and a kindergarten, all in the same district. According to preliminary information, Ukraine launched more than 100 rockets using United States-made HIMARS missile launchers. On Sunday, Russia held the annual Naval Day Parade in the city of St. Petersburg. This year, 45 ships, boats, and submarines, as well as about 3,000 military personnel, took part in the event. The President of Russia and Supreme Commander of the Russian Armed Forces, Vladimir Putin, attended the parade, alongside 4 African heads of states and representatives from all 5 other countries. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said that the Navy plays a key role in ensuring the sovereignty and freedom of the country, and it is an important component of national defense. The Navy Day is celebrated every last Sunday in July throughout Russia and will also celebrate in other coastal cities with Navy bases such as Vladivostok, Baltisk, Severomorsk, as well as the Syrian port of Tartus.
In the name of Russia, our sailors give their best, show true heroism, fight valiantly, like our great ancestors. I thank the personnel of the Russian Navy for the impeccable fulfillment of your tasks, for your reliability, diligence, steadfastness, and for your impeccable devotion to the fatherland. It is patriotism that is at the heart of the special naval culture, which helps to fulfill all state tasks with dignity, causes our people's unwavering admiration for military sailors, pride for our indefatigable navy.
Off the Dutch coast, a ship carrying over 3,700 cars had been burning for 5 consecutive days. The fire has killed one of the 23 crew members who managed to jump overboard to escape the flames. Netherlands Coast Guard reports that the Panamanian flagship, which had sailed from Germany bound from Singapore, is now adrift some 27 kilometers off the northernmost Dutch coast. Although, at this point, there is no certainty as to what caused the fire, the ship owner said that he presumed culprit may be the 498 electric vehicles on board. Fire on lithium batteries are extremely difficult to extinguish. Water or oxygen deprivation cannot be used for risk of explosion, and special substances are needed which are generally not found in this type of vessel. Authorities said that now that the smoke has subsided, a rescue operation can be attempted. During an inspection visit to a unit of the People's Liberation Army, Chinese President Xi Jinping stressed the importance of modernizing the armed forces. From the southwestern province of Sichuan, President Xi Jinping directed those attending the event at the Western Theater Command the construction of a model government system for the country's armed forces as part of the goal set for its 100th anniversary. In the context of tensions with the United States over provocations in Taiwan, the leader asked parliamentarians and other authorities to turn the army into a great wall of steel that effectively safeguards national sovereignty, security, and development interests. In this context, a report on Saturday revealed that China surpassed the production of fifth-generation fighter jets of the United States up to 120 units per year. According to previous estimates, the production capacity of the Chinese J-20 was between 40 and 50 planes every 12 months. The J-20 is a Chinese proposal to take on Western fifth-generation aircraft specializing in long-range aerial combat, and with this increase in production, the Chinese military is accelerating the modernization of its air force at a rate of more than 250%. On Saturday, 29 July, the death toll had risen to 12, including 2 minors following the explosion of a fireworks warehouse in southern Thailand. Meanwhile, more than 100 people remain hospitalized, and many of them in serious conditions. While investigations into the cause of the incidents continue, the police and the army seized pyrotechnic material from 4 houses in the area belonging to the owner of the warehouse where fireworks were illegally stored. The authorities tried this Monday to reset the order and return the electricity supply in the locality of Muno, where the incident occurred. Among the serious damage caused by the explosion, which destroyed the local market, more than 200 houses were damaged, some of which were burned to the ground, while others lost their roofs due to the force of the blast wave. In Mumbai, the Hosini Federation and the website The Garbala net organized by Julius on the occasion of the 10th Muharram Ashura. The 10th of Muharram, also known as Ashura, is a significant day for Muslims around the world. It marks the martyrdom of Imam Hussein and his companions in the Battle of Karbala. The Julius procession was attended by thousands of people who came together to pay their respects to Imam Hussein and to remember his sacrifice. The participants carried banners with messages of love and respect for Imam Hussein and his family. They also recited Nahudas and reported made amor to the loss of Imam Hussein and his companions. During the Julos, the organizers urged the community to boycott Sweden, a country that recently saw a controversy over the burning of a Quran. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There, you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, sub-stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Sunday in Niger, a massive demonstration gathered in front of the French embassy in the capital Niamey to support the military junta that seized power. According to the authorities, demonstrators from different parts of the city are gathering on the place of the concentration in Niamey in front of the National Assembly. Demonstrators expressed their support for the military transition, reject French colonialism, and demand the immediate departure of all Western forces from the country. The Council of Nations also reject the meeting of the Economic Community of West African States in Nigeria, the European Union, and the African Union on the argument that it is contrary to the interests of the people of Niger. For his part, the African Union announced a two-week ultimatum for the restoration of internal order. On Sunday, West African Region bloc ECOWAS issued an ultimatum of 1 week to the military junta that lost power in Niger early this week to return the country to constitutional normality. Thousands of supporters of the military junta responded by taking to the streets of the capital, Niamey, waving Russian flags and denouncing former colonial power, France. In a statement published after the emergency meeting held in Nigeria, the regional bloc did not exclude the use of force. The spokesperson for Niger coup leaders, Colonel Major Amadou Abdramane, responded with the determination they will defend the nation's sovereignty. The mutineers said they overthrew the President Mohamed Bazoum, who was elected 2 years ago in Niger for a peaceful, democratic transfer of power since independence from France, because he wasn't able to secure the nation from growing terrorist violence.
Event the authorities' demands are not met within 1 week, take all measures necessary to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. Such measures may include the use of force.
According to the French journal Le Figaro, the crisis in Niger is worrying for France, especially because it puts the supply of uranium for its nuclear power plants at risk. The French company Gala Urano, which operates uranium mines in Niger, was supplying 10% of all the uranium consumed by French nuclear facilities until the start of the crisis. According to Le Figaro, the coup staged about 3 months after the visit of the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, to enter to Paris by surprise, although the fragility of the government in Niger was well known, particularly among the military. In Kenya, the government and the opposition announced they will form a joint committee to initiate a dialogue that will allow a democratic and peaceful solution to the problems that afflict this African country. The government coalition headed by President William Ruto confirmed the beginning of the talks. For his part, the opposition platform led by Raila Odinga issued a statement in which it announced that it accepts the executive invitation for talks. The committee will be made up of 10 people, 5 members from each of the parties, and the talks will be held under the mediation of the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. The country is experiencing months of protests and unrest following the government's decision to increase taxes on food, fuel, and other basic commodities. On Sunday, voting began in the Central African Republic for a referendum on a constitution that would allow President Faustin Archange Touadera to seek a third term. Over 1.9 million voters are called to the polls, and the proposed new constitution will extend the presidential term from 5 years to 7 years and abolish term limits in this country, which has undergone numerous coups. The main opposition parties called for a boycott of the provisional results to be published in 8 days, accusing President Touadera of wanting to impose himself as president for life. The definite result of the referendum will be announced on August 27th by the country's constitutional court. At a meeting of head of Palestinian factions held Sunday in the Egyptian city of El Alamein, meeting chairman Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said the 2007 coup and the ensuing division must end immediately without any hesitation or delay. He stressed that the division is a new catastrophe that has befallen the Palestinian people and caste, and the national unity and joint collective action must be based on clear principles and foundations to end division, achieve unity, and get domestic affairs in order. President Abbas also stressed that the Palestine Liberation Organization is the sole and legitimate representative of the Palestinian people, stressing the need to adhere to its political program and to all its international obligations. On Monday, President Abbas is scheduled to meet with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to discuss the latest developments in Palestine and the efforts made to advance the peace process and end Israeli occupation. In Pakistan, more than 40 people were killed and dozens injured when an explosive device exploded during a political rally in the north of the country. Official sources confirmed the number of deaths which occurred during political events of a conservative religious party. The authorities presumed that the attack was directed at a leader of the party who was supposed to take part in the event, although the explosion occurred before his arrival. The events took place in the northern city of Kar, which this day is at the center of the electoral campaign for the general election scheduled for late this year. Every July 30, the world commemorates the World Days Against Trafficking in Persons, an initiative to raise awareness of the importance of knowing and denouncing this practice and promote the protection of victims' rights. Trafficking in persons is defined as the recruitment by force, fraud, or deception for the purpose of exploitation. Traffickers exploit vulnerable women, men, girls, and boys for profit. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime implements initiatives to help tackle this crime, ranging from educational campaigns to the creation of a voluntary trust fund for victims. This year's theme is Reach Every Victim of Trafficking and Leave No One Behind. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alena Rosabal. Thank you for watching.